Hey guys, and welcome to our debut tutorial for Sonic Fruit GFX. I haven't made a video yet. I've been sick for a very long time. So, I apologize if I sneeze or cough during this video. I just wanted to get a video in really bad, and I have actually gotten better, health-wise, so yeah. And today we'll be making this really cool, desktop background. Now, I used Korra from the Legend of Korra. It's like a Nickelodeon show if you've ever seen it. It's really good. And this is very basic, believe it or not. It looks pretty cool, but it's basic. It will contain a few little brushes here and there. This is a basic, very basic brush right here. Sparks. Everyone will have it as their default brush. And then this gradient, FG to BG gradient, and then we are going to add a grunge, I don't know what you call it, grunge picture, I guess. We'll set it to overlay, but yeah. And so we're going to start by creating a new image. If you want it as your desktop background, you want to check your screen resolution. Mine is 1600 by 900. Whoops, no, I don't want that. Thank you. 1600 by 900. And you want to go to advanced settings, make sure it's on transparency. You could do that by clicking, it'll be, your default would be background color, but you want transparency. Everything else, just leave default. Okay, so what we're going to do with this background layer selected, we are going to go to a gradient. Make sure that gradient is selected, and if you have GIMP 2.8, there will be this little dialog right here that you could go over to, or you could just use this. We're going to go FG to BG. Make sure you press Control and hold it as you drag up, and we want to drag it all the way up completely. Yeah. And it looks pretty blank right now. We don't want it like that. We want it to look pretty cool. So we're going to go to Colorize and just scroll through the hue and find a color that you really like. I personally like the original setting, so I'm just going to go 180 default. Okay. So after you, and you could still go saturation, you know, all that. So after you got what you like, just click OK. No, I don't want that. There we go. Okay, good enough. And click OK. Now we're going to open up our image of Korra. So we're going to go to File, Open as Layers, and then I have it right, let me find it. I have a lot of pictures right now. Yes, this is the really good picture that I found on Google. I'll leave the link in the description so you can make it as well. And we're going to scale this down so it'll fit pretty nice. And we do not want this white part at all. It just makes the picture look bad and everything. So we're going to go to, grab your fuzzy selection tool, click on the white part, and then press delete on your keyboard. Now if you have good eyes, let's grab this right here. You could, whoa, it does that sometimes. You could see that there are white, pixels around the image. It really makes it look like poor quality, and we do not want that. So what we're going to do to get rid of that, it's very simple, is we're going to go to the picture of Korra, right click, there will be a drop down menu, and you want to click alpha to selection. After it's selected, you want to go to shrink by about 2, then we're going to go to feather, leave the default settings at 5, and then we're going to go to invert, and then press delete on your keyboard. Now as you can see, it left the image with absolutely no white. Looks really nice now. So I don't know, I have my icons on my desktop on this side, so I want Korra to be flipped over on this side. So I'm going to grab the flip tool and then click. Now she still looks natural, like she's running, it's just in a different direction. We're going to put her about, not exactly in the middle, but close to about this area. Good. Alright. Now, there's this really cool gradient effect that I want to add, so we're going to go to create a new layer, transparency, just leave everything default, and then OK. Make sure it is in fact above Korra, and you want to go to your gradient tool again, go over to this dialog, control, and then pull up to about where her knee is. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Can't decide. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. And then if you think the opacity is too high, you're going to drag it down just a little bit so you can still see her foot. I'd say about 81, 82. Alright, so that's pretty good. I like that. And then, basically, we are going to add our hard spray brushes. I will also leave a link in the description for those. And we want to create a new layer, transparency. And we want it behind Korra, just so it's not all big in their face, You want it behind her. So I'm going to grab a specific brush. Let me find it. It might take me a second. Yeah, this one. Pretty sure it's this one. I like this brush. And we're just going to click, make sure, leave the default settings. It's pretty good size right now. And we're just going to click, maybe bring it over a little bit more so you can still see it. Yeah, that's good. Really good. And then you want to have a variety of big brushes and small brushes. So I'm going to leave this one about right up here and bring a thinner splatter brush right down here. And probably one more up here. That looks pretty good. I like that. And so in the original image that I created, I didn't leave it at full opacity. But if you like it like that, I really don't care. Just whatever you like. I'm going to bring this opacity down to about 23. 23 looks good. This part looks a little empty. I'm going to add another brush now that I think about it. This one looks pretty good. Or this one. Yes, that's perfect. Okay, I like that a lot. And so now, my freezes up sometimes, so weird. Okay, so we are going to bring in that grunge effect. And we're going to go to File, Open as Layers. And then it's located on my desktop. Okay, there. Now, the image itself is pretty small. But we're just going to scale it. It really doesn't matter. And it really doesn't lose much quality. And you won't be able to see it very much anyway, because we're going to set it on the overlay. So you'll see this little arrow key. You want to hold that down. Still holding your mouse down, just release as you are over overlay. Now this is it makes the image look like it's actually on the gradient, which I really like. But we are going to bring the opacity down just a tad, just so it's not all in your face. Now one thing, we're going to go back and edit Korra a little bit. So we're going to add this motion blur kind of thing, but with the original motion blur settings, it just, it's too much. Basically, it really adds a whole lot of motion blur. I really don't like it like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the smudge tool and make sure it's on a fuzzy brush. If you don't have a fuzzy, it's okay. Just grab your hard brush. But we're going to scale it down to about 20. Yeah, 20. And this is pretty good size for what you're going to be doing. Make sure Korra is selected. And we're going to hold and drag on the parts where you would have motion blur on. And that kind of makes her hair look like it's moving. And we're going to do that with a lot of key parts on her body. Still on that hair. With the fingers, you want to be careful because you don't want to merge them all together. So you just kind of want to do them individually. And don't smudge them too much. But we're going to do this little ribbon over here. Yeah, this is really coming together really nice. Just kind of. And with these, you want to make them like they're flipping out because it's hair. It's fur. That's the word I was going for. The fur. It wants to be flimsy. You need to make it look flimsy. There. That's pretty good. Make sure you have every loose piece of hair. Kind of, not that much. That's pretty good. And I would say maybe a little bit on these fingers. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. And then a little bit on the boot. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I'll just edit that out, I guess. No, I think it's okay. Yeah, it's good. See what I did in the original picture? I created a, I duplicated the layer and then lowered the opacity, but if you want to do that, that looks fine. I just didn't do it originally. I kind of forgot about it. But it looks fine as it is, so yeah. And we are going to, maybe we will. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. And now that we have Korra all pretty much edited, we are just going to open up our text selection, or text tool, rather. And then we're going to select any font, really, but I'm going to be using the font called Rock's Death. I'll leave a font link in the description. It's from dafont.com. Really good site, by the way. And you could write your name, but I'm just going to write Korra. Then we're going to select, scale it up quite a bit. Drag it to wherever it looks nice. I left it over here, which, I mean, it looks pretty good right here. So, yeah, that looks good. Okay, now what we're going to do is duplicate this layer, and then go to Filters, Blur, Motion Blur. The default settings, like I've been playing around with this, but the default settings will be like 4 and 4. I'm leaving this angle at 180 and 30. Alright, now this is, you can barely see what it says, so we're really going to bring that opacity on this one. I'd say about 50 looks perfect, by the way. Yeah, so that looks good. And I'm going to merge these two together because I'm like really OCD. I need to have everything organized. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to add this, the light effect, spark effect rather, and that is also going to be motion blurred, so you have a little bit of a step left, a few steps left, and then you're going to be done. So we're going to bring it, yeah, we're going to bring it below her, and then we're going to go, this will be in your default settings, by the way. And we don't want sparks that are like too small because that looks puny. So we're going to scale it up to where it looks like they fit in her hand. No, that's too big. That looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit smaller. Yeah, I like that. And we don't want them yellow. That's an easy fix because this was, you know, that was white. We do not want them yellow. So we're going to go to Colors, Hue Saturation, Saturation completely down, and Lightness completely up. It still looks a little gray, so we're going to go back up to Colors, Hue Saturation, and then Lightness completely up. Alright, to create the motion blur, we're basically going to do what we did with the text. Duplicate the layer. It'll look brighter for a second, but that'll be gone. Blur, motion blur. Alright. So we want the sparks flying in the same direction as the Korra. So we are going to leave default, or not the default, the original settings that you put in there. And then OK. Yes, that looks really good. Now we're going to bring down the opacity just a little bit. I know I bring down the opacity a lot, but it really does help in the long run. Then we're going to merge these two together. And you're done. Now, you can have some variation of brushes and stuff, or whatever you want to add. Really, it doesn't matter. It's your picture. And what I always do with most of my pieces of art, I go and add a signature. I like this font, by the way, KG Turning Tables, also found on dafont.com. So I'm just going to type Sonic. And I'm going to raise this opacity up quite a bit, or size. Grab it, and I always put it in the corner. I do not know why. Alright, and lower the opacity. There we go. Now you have your photo manipulation and just piece of art of Korra. Thanks for watching.